address this black space that's
Just move your face over. Why don't you just move the box over?
What do you mean? There's still gonna be this.
No, move it over. Move the face over where our faces are.
What face?
This the webcam. Yeah, move that over. Move it to the right.
What do you mean moving to the right?
Move it. Yeah. Doesn't that take care of the blackness?
No, there's still gonna be.
Oh, well, make that smaller then. Shrink it.
What?
Can't you just click that box and make it smaller? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the problem is we're gonna go to the bottom, right?
I don't know. Change the format of the screen.
No, we just need to add some kind of thing here so it's not like just black box. We'll do that in the future.
I don't know what you're talking about. It looks fine to me. Put us back on the left side. That's my good side.
Yeah, no, this is more consistent with the stream too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What were we talking about? Oh, I fixed the Audacity. Now we're actually going to go audio only. I mean, with audio.
Probably don't need this.
No, we don't need two open. Man, this is getting all fancy and serious.
Yeah, man. You ready?
Oh, we're going to start now? I thought we talked...
We can just start now.
I thought we always talk a little bit of bullshit in the beginning for the pre-show till we get one viewer. One viewer. Who's going to be our first viewer? Then we'll start the show. Show doesn't start till someone gets in here. I can do this all day.
How was your week, man? Other than Hearthstone, like what?
Oh man, I finally fixed the leak.
Oh, did you fix the leakage?
Cost me $400 fucking dollars, but I got it done.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, you have to buy, I guess, more.
No, I hired a plumber. Like fuck, I can't
Right.
fucking deal with this. The guy's like 150 to find the problem, 150 to fix it. I'm like fuck you, you got me.
$300
Plus the HST. Yeah.
Oh god, so that's like what, $30 more?
No, I had him clean out the sink drain too because that was backing up. I could have done that myself, but last time I did it, I fucking broke the thing and then it.
$150 to identify the problem.
Yeah.
Jesus. So if you found the problem, and you just tell him what to do, well then you don't need a plumber anymore.
Well, then I can do it myself.
Yeah.
If I know what the problem is and I can fix it myself, yes, I could do that on my own. But that's kind of the problem. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like for small things, I fixed that toilet before, but it had a lot of issues. I was almost to the point where, man, I can just buy a new toilet for $200 and put it in myself, and maybe it would have been better that way.
Put this a little bit more to your side. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so we look at that. We don't look at this.
I never look at there.
Actually, maybe it's better to put the PowerPoint on this side because we rarely look at the PowerPoint, right?
You browse over it. That's a good idea. So just move them. You have to escape.
Okay, so
Drag that over there. Drag the other one over there.
yeah.
You're not used to this two-screen thing, huh?
Yeah, okay, this is better because we can have the Audacity here too. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Wait, it's still on that side.
Technical difficulties. I wonder at what rate we get this fixed up.
Okay. Get the stream lag back, I guess.
Worry about that next week.
Worry about that next week.
Do you ever listen to our show?
Yeah, I do. I do listen to it.
Oh, okay.
So
you do get direct feedback from listening to yourself.
I do think the sound is a little bit faint.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm sitting
Like
real
right
close
now,
to
I'm
the
pretty
mic.
far away, so. Yeah.
Well, we have to take turns. We'll get 2 microphones eventually, and then we don't have to share. Nothing like sharing. All right, let's start the show. Anyways, it's been 4 minutes of ramble.
Right.
Wait, how was your weekend? What'd you do with your girlfriend? Did you see Captain Marvel yet?
Oh yeah, okay. Let me start recording.
Why?
Okay, yeah. I saw Captain Marvel. It was good. It wasn't bad at all.
So you recommend it?
I recommend it.
Okay.
You've seen Black Panther, right?
Yeah, that was a good movie. You didn't like it?
I liked it better than Black Panther.
Whoa, that means it's really good.
No, it's just because I didn't like Black Panther as much. That's
Why don't you like Black Panther, Tachi? Tell us all. Tell the world why don't you like Black Panther?
Dude, that has nothing to do with.
Hey, I didn't say there. Why did you go there? Has nothing to do with what, sir?
Oh shit, you're not even in the face anymore. Man. You gotta.
What do you want me to do? It's a chair. I can't go lower on it.
Okay, no, this is good. Now this is good. I didn't. It just felt so lackluster,
Black Panther?
Black Panther at the he was gonna lose to the bad guy at first,
I didn't know that.
and then at the end they're gonna fight and he's gonna win. And the location they chose to fight it in was so stupid.
A big open field.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, so one of them is gonna fall down, right? Okay, maybe.
Okay, all right. Minus the last part, the last quarter. I think 3/4 of it was good.
I don't even remember what happened in the other quarters.
Like this thug was coming in and robbing them and killing people and doing stuff.
And the black and
I didn't know who he was.
And the main character was like smoking up some shit to get some hallucinate his dad or whatever. Like
he wasn't smoking.
That was trippy as fuck, dude.
He was drinking the poison.
Okay, yeah, no.
Oh shit, we got a viewer.
Okay, let's
start.
Fuck,
all right. Get the audacity right.
Okay.
All right, I'll clap.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, he left. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Player and the Pro, episode 10, the Hearthstone Arena podcast. This is Casual Player Will, joined by my co-host, Leaderboard Tachi.
What's up, guys?
We're here for you guys with another week, and this time we're trying to be more organized and professional. We're getting there, but thanks for listening and watching. We're probably going to get this up on audio format now this week somehow. Gotta figure that out, but we're gonna get there. How's your week been?
Yeah, it was okay. I took a week off work, so I played a lot of Hearthstone. Yeah, that's basically it.
You took a week off work just to play Hearthstone?
Not to play I took a week off because I wasn't even playing Hearthstone a lot, but I did play 3 runs a day. So like after 5 p.m. or something, I just started playing Hearthstone. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a problem?
No. I don't have a problem.
Oh, no.
I can stop whenever I want.
Yeah, sure. I don't have a drinking problem. You have a drinking problem.
You have a drinking problem. I never drank.
I just play Hearthstone a lot.
I just play Hearthstone a lot. Yeah.
And then when I don't play, when the one day I don't play, I'm like, where's my Hearthstone, man? Give me that Hearthstone. Need that Hearthstone.
All
right, let's go. Start the show. Let's get moving. Next slide.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about some new cards that's coming up.
Rise of Shadows. Like, my one beef is it's taking so long to give us new cards. I want at least. Wait, this set comes out in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So in the next 14 days, they gotta do 10 cards a day or something like that?
No, what they do is they release maybe 3 to 4 cards a day, and then at the last day they release 30 cards at the end.
That's too much work, guys. You're making my life too hard. We're trying to keep this flow of content steady. Please be more reasonable and just do 10 to 20 a week.
So we got 8 cards here that we can talk about, which is great. So.
All right, let's start. You go first.
Okay, so the first card we got this week is called Swamp Queen Hagatha, 7 mana, 5/5. Battle cry, add a 5/5 horror to your hand. Teach it 2 shaman spells.
So this is a shaman legendary, right?
Yep.
Okay, now what's a 5/5 horror? Is it just a 5/5 mana?
Yeah, 5/5 horror is just a 5/5 minion.
That costs 5.
That costs 5.
Okay.
And when it says teach it 2 shaman spells, it's kind of like Kazakis.
Oh, so it's discover.
Yeah, so it's so you have so it's discover 2 spells basically.
Okay.
And then you put that effect into the 5 mana 5/5.
So onto its battle cry.
Yeah.
So it could be like a flame elemental. It's deal 3 damage would be lightning bolt, right?
Yeah, you could add a lightning bolt and then
evolve.
Oh shit, yeah. I don't think they have an evolve card right now, but it's. Oh, by the way, some technicalities is only 1 card will be targetable. So only 1 spell of the 2 spells is targetable.
Oh.
So there's gonna be. It's kind of vague. It's not very specific, but basically the developer was like, okay, so 1 pool is gonna be no targetable spells like Bloodlust. Right, Bloodlust.
Devolve? No.
Devolve. That's a wild card, but yeah. Volcano.
Oh
that's rotating.
God.
That's rotating out though. But yeah, so
Lightning Storm.
Staples. So those are gonna be Reign of Toads. That's still gonna be in there.
Ah.
And 1 pool could just be every card.
that has a target.
That has a target.
This one is very tricky.
It's very tricky.
Yeah. Are there going to be like? Is it going to be a set pool, or is it going to be random cards, or you think it's like all the shaman spells that are in standard?
Yeah.
Or sorry, in standard arena is what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna try it out, but it looks very good on paper.
Looks fun. Well, 7 mana 5/5 sucks, but then you get another card next turn that could break the game.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like a 5 mana 5/5 that's already good on tempo. Look, 7 mana 5/5, it means you kind of spend 2 mana extra to do this battle cry effect.
Set up your next turn.
So all you gotta do is for your next turn, you pick a spell that costs more. You pick 2 spells that's more than 2 mana, and then you gain the tempo back, basically.
Depending what options you
Depending what options you
get.
get.
You get that. You get Volcano. I'm like, well, that just...
But on average, the second card will give you the tempo back that you lost with the first card. So
okay. It could be great.
Could be great. It's
Actually,
probably a top arena card.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Well, it's also legendary, so
Yeah,
forget
it just breaks the game, right? I guess a good thing is that you can't really discover this card because it's not like a tribe, right? It's not like a beast or whatever, so you can't randomly get it.
Okay.
But you know, we are gonna get the tri-class cards back, right? So we can discover a random shaman card, priest, or whatever.
Okay.
Right. So Lotus Agent could discover this, which will be pretty crazy.
Yeah. Right.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Next up.
Next card, 6 mana 3/4, Oblivitron. It's a mech. So Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter card. Death Rattle. Summon a mech from your hand and trigger its Death Rattle. This is horrible. What the hell? Are there any good mechs with Death Rattles? I can't even think of one. Well, maybe there will be in the next set, but all I know.
Yeah, in Hunter you have what's that called? The 3 mana 2/2. With the Death Rattle, destroy a random minion.
Oh, that guy.
I forgot what it's called. Spider or something?
Spider Bot.
Spider Bot.
Or does that deal for... No, yeah, Spider Bot.
But the weird thing is that card is not going to be in Arena because Rastakhan and Boomsday is rotating out, so...
I think this is more of a standard card.
Yeah,
it falls
it's just a shitty card. We don't have to talk about it.
It falls into that Death Rattle Hunter that they had going on in standard.
Yeah. And it costs 6 mana. Like, come on, dude.
No, standard card, skip it. Oh, this one. Next card. 0 mana. Lazal's Scheme. This is a priest?
Priest card.
Priest card. Now, we figured out the key word for the cards that where they keep them in your hand, the power level increases each turn. And it's called schemes. So these are called schemes. Where if you keep the card in your hand, the power level boosts every
It's
turn.
not a keyword, though. It's just...
It's the name of a card.
It's the name of a card.
A theme.
But, yeah, it upgrades each turn, and there are no limit to this. So you could keep it for, like, 30 turns. You could keep it for 20 turns, right? And then somebody activates a darkness, and then you reduce it to 0, and then you steal it. That's a possibility. That's never going to happen in Arena, but it's a possibility.
Well, the good thing is it's 0 mana.
Yeah.
So it's reduce the attack of an enemy minion by 1 until your next turn. Upgrades each turn. So not only does it kill it on your turn, but on his turn, it's still...
yeah,
0.
it's still 0. So it's kind of like a soft, large removal, right? Because if you decrease something like a Boulder Fist Ogre, you decrease by 6 attack. You kept this in your hand for 6 turns. A Boulder Fist Ogre becomes a 0/7.
So the big wall.
And all you have to do is just have minions with maybe 7 attack to hit it. To kill it. That's pretty powerful considering the card is only cost 0 mana.
This looks really good,
This
actually.
looks really strong.
I think it's the best scheme so far, considering it costs 0. And, it could basically take down whatever they want, the best minion they have, and it becomes nothing, right?
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate, though, how strong the schemes are going to be. Because obviously, if you top deck it, it just lowers it by 1 attack.
Yeah, well, it's something you want to keep in the beginning of the game, I guess.
But
right?
even if you top deck it, right, this thing will still lower something by 1 attack. And it's still 1 mana.
No, free. 0 mana.
0 mana, yeah, it's still 0 mana. So even when you top deck it, it might still be a good card.
Yeah, so even if you run into some poisonous taunt jerk, you're like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah, like a 1/5 poisonous, and you make it down to 0. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Flexible. It falls right into the priest's wheelhouse of of making
Yeah.
things weak and then stealing.
But
them.
once again, it's like you have to have the board already to use this card at its power.
Or it buys you a turn.
Or it buys you a turn, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next card is called Madame Lazul. Battle Cry. Discover a copy of a card in your opponent's hand. It's a 3 mana, 3/2.
Priest legendary.
Priest legendary.
So when this card gets played, I look at 3 cards from their hand.
Yeah.
And then I get to take one.
You get.
So basically, I'm seeing your whole hand.
I mean, most people probably have more than 3 cards, right?
I'm seeing 50% or more of your hand.
Yeah.
And I get to take one of those cards.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like her.
3
mana, 3/2 is fine.
The card you compare this with is... I don't know what to compare this with. Glimmerroot, maybe? Curious Glimmerroot?
Yeah, but you have to guess with Glimmerroot. This, you get it for sure.
You get it for sure.
And you get to see 2 other cards from their hand.
Yeah.
So that makes it a big deal, because now I get to see what you're playing.
Yeah.
And
it should be a good card in Arena still.
It's good in everything. Like, how could this not be good in Standard? Every priest should have this card. If you're playing Standard, if you're playing Arena, like, for sure, grab this thing. Because it's 3/2 for 3, draw a card. And you get to see 2 more cards on their hand. Like, people don't really realize how important that is in Hearthstone. To see what your opponent's hand is and know what's coming ahead of time.
I would say for me, it's probably not that important.
You don't
know
care?
What's in their hand, because I could probably get a read myself without looking at it. But obviously, for someone who can't make that read, it's going to be much better for them, right?
Yes, please give me all the information.
Okay, so let's talk about the last 3 cards that we saw this week. We'll start with the Warlock card. Is called Reform's Scheme. 3 mana and summon 1/1/1 imp, and it upgrades each turn. So it's another scheme card. And so say you keep this in your opening hand, right? And then on turn 3, it summons 3/1/1s.
I'm okay with that. I'd keep it to turn 4 or 5 ideally, but I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, 1/1s aren't that impressive to me anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, Blast Wave is going out, so 1/1s and Scorcher is going out. So these 1/1s in Arena might be pretty good, but also we see a lot of other cards that's coming in. I don't know, it's tough. It's hard to evaluate this, but if you spend 3 mana to get 4 1/1s, that's pretty good already. That's pretty good. You definitely don't want to summon this for 2. You definitely only want this for 3/1/1s minimum. So you should never play this card to get 2 1/1s. That's just...
Wait, how can you get 2 1/1s? Oh, if you have it... Yeah.
Yeah, if you only kept it for 2 turns.
Yeah,
right?
If you draw it late game, yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's hard to evaluate.
Well, if you top deck it, I guess you're screwed. What do you do? Just hold on to it?
Yeah, then it's
You lost the game.
unplayable top deck card.
You lost the game.
Okay, next card.
4 mana, 4/5 mech, Omega Devastator. This is a warrior epic card. Battle Cry. If you have 10 mana crystals, deal 10 damage to a minion. This is like the best card so far I've seen. This is like a top bucket card. God damn.
Yeah.
4/5 for 4 is great. That's Yeti stats, which was great in Rasakan's Rumble meta. And then the fact that it deals 10 damage without like a real drawback from turn 10 and on, it's like compared to a Crowd Roaster, this is so much better.
Yeah, you have to keep it till turn 10 though.
Crowd Roaster had a bigger handicap. I had to have a dragon.
Yeah, most people never pick Crowd Roaster, right? They only pick Dragon's Roar so they can get Crowd Roaster by itself.
Yeah.
I think it is a strong card, but a lot of people on Reddit seem to think this is broken.
Yes, I think it's broken.
I don't think it's brokenly good. In fact, I think the fact that it has a Yeti stats is actually a good thing for this card.
Yeah. You can play it on turn 4.
No, not a good thing, but like it actually lowers the impact of its battle cry, because a lot of people are just gonna play this for 4 or 5.
You sure?
Whereas if you look at Omega Agents, right? Omega Agents, nobody played it on turn 5 to turn 9.
Well,
they kept it for turn 10 because the battle cry always was better. Whereas if you look at, the other card, Omega Defender, which becomes a 12/6 on turn 10, a lot of people did actually play it before turn 10 because the stats, the taunt effect and the stats, they could be useful, right, before turn 10. And the fact that this thing can be played before that will probably lower how often you get the battle cry off.
So you're saying don't save this for turn 10 to blast.
So I really like this card because it offers that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Omega Agents, it doesn't give you a choice. It's a turn 10 card. You have to play it past turn 10.
It's a 10 mana, 5
and
mana turn.
It's just a ridiculous amount of stats, right? Like in terms of stats, Omega Agents is actually stronger than this card.
Oh.
Because for 1 mana more, you get 2 4/5s. And this, instead of 2 4/5s, it kills something. Right? It just kills something. Deals 10 damage. Now, deal 10 damage is kind of like an assassinate, right? Most minions doesn't have 10 health.
Pretty much.
So you basically spend 5 mana to do an assassinate. Whereas Omega Agents, 2 4/5s cost 8 mana. So you still... Omega Agent's a greater tempo card. It's still a greater card than this. But this card is still pretty good. It's pretty good, but I don't think it's brokenly good, right? Some people are like, "Oh, put this in the top bucket."
I think so.
I don't think it's a top bucket card.
We'll find out.
Okay, last card is Improve Morale. That's a warrior card. For 1 mana, you deal 1 damage to a minion. If it survives, add a lackey to your hand. We're not gonna show you the lackeys yet. We showed it last time too, but basically they're 1 mana 1/1s with different battle cries. So one of them is summon a random 2-drop, or one of them is discover a spell or something, and another one is +1 attack and it makes the minion gain rush, and another one is deal 2 damage. So there are 4 lackeys.
I thought there were 6.
There are 4 that was initially revealed, but they said they're going to release more lackeys throughout the year of the dragon.
Lackeys seem good, but you get a random one, right?
You get a random one,
oh,
yeah.
Man, I don't know. 1 mana deal 1 damage.
Yeah, it seems a little bit underwhelming to me.
And that's if it doesn't die.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Yeah.
Maybe you deal damage to your own minion to get them angry.
Oh, that's true. You could, warrior does have that synergy where you can target your own minion.
Get them all
enraged. And then you can get a battle rage off too. So I don't know. It could be good.
On the fence.
A lot of people on Reddit said this is a great card.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
You're not gonna stake your reputation on this?
No.
Not like Omega Devastator?
Yeah, Omega Devastator, I would say...
Not a great card.
No. It's a good card, for sure, but it's not a top bucket card.
I think it's a top bucket.
I don't think it should be in the top bucket.
Omega Defender was top bucket, right? Or, sorry, Omega Agents? Or
no, Omega Agents in the 4th bucket.
Oh.
But that's under bucketed. It should be in the 2nd bucket.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll move on from there. We saw some new cards. We're pretty excited. We can't wait to see more cards. But a lot of the cards that was released were legendary, so it's not very... You're not going to see that in Arena a lot, right? So none of them has been meta-defining so far. Yeah, we'll just go from there. So the meta this week, you played...
I played 3 runs. A whole 3 runs. I got a 2-win mage. I think I had like an 8-win warrior.
Wow.
And then a 5-win druid. Or a 5-win priest.
You're going to teach me warrior.
I don't co-op. Let's not put too much pressure on him.
The casual player will teach the pro how to play warrior.
Let's not get nuts here.
Okay, so on this slide we have some stats for you. Basically none of this has changed very much.
I think it has changed. Warlock has fallen and Mage has almost caught up to it. We're almost even. Warlock is number 1.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because for the longest time Warlock had like a 53% win rate, and now Warlock and Mage is about the same, and Rogue and Paladin's about the same. And Warrior is kind of... Warrior and Priest is kind of by themselves, and then the bottom, Hunter, is by herself. a lot.
These stats are from
HS replay.
HS replays.
For the last week. I have picked Warlock less. So if you look at my stats, I actually played a lot because I didn't work this week. So I did 25 runs this week. 7.7 average, really good.
25 runs in a week. This is why you're the pro and I'm the casual player. You keep making fun of me for being a casual player, but I play 3 to 5 runs on average a week.
Yeah, that's probably not even casual player anymore. You're probably
that's pretty casual.
Above the average already.
No, that's pretty casual. 3 runs a week? That's like 1 every 2 days.
Yeah.
You do 25. Just do the numbers.
Look, I am probably the only one in North America who plays this much that's not a full-time streamer. But I don't know. I have fun. I have fun playing. Like a lot of the cards I picked, a lot of the classes I've been picking as Paladin and Rogue, I've been picking less Warlocks. And you can kind of see Warlock declining. Now, my theory on this is because, we're new expansions coming up. And the problem is that there aren't a lot of new players playing Arena anymore. Because it's been 4 months. Rasticon's meta has worn off. People lost interest in Standard, in Wild, in Arena, whatever. And it shows here. So when the pool of players are smaller, you have more experienced players. Warlock isn't as good anymore. And why is that, right? It's because a lot of players now understands how to draft for curve. They might not know how to exactly draft for curve, but they think about curve. So a lot of times when I lose, this week, it's because they played more on curve than before. So Warlock can't really do that well if the Mage and the Rogue are on curve and the Paladin's on curve. They just because Warlock only has Defile, Despicable Dreadlord as kind of their outs, Shadow Flame, right?
Yeah.
And if they go second and they're behind on the board, they can't use their Demon Bolt very well. So when a lot of players play on curve, Warlock is worse. And you can see the stats reflect this. And you can see Mage, Rogue, and Paladin so close behind. And that's because these classes are very good when they're on the board. Right? Like, if the Mage is on the board, they could do Flame Strike to keep your opponent's board still clear. They could Blizzard, Freeze. They have a lot of one-sided board clears that work to their advantage.
Okay.
Rogue has large removals. So if they curved out super early, they could just keep removing your minions, and then you can't really do anything while they keep pushing phase. And Paladin just has Silver Sword and all those crazy finishers, and they're on the board, you're just done. And you can see all the bottom few classes has problems. So Shaman, you would think Shaman would be on the board a lot, but the problem with Shaman is overload. Can really fuck you up, right? Like if Lightning Storm misses, you just wasted 5 mana to maybe deal 2 damage to 2 things. That's game losing. And Hunter, a lot of people can't play Hunter correctly, so they Hero Power in turn 2. If Hero Power in turn 2, you lose so much tempo.
Uh-huh.
You have to draft your 2s in Hunter, and most people aren't doing that. And Priest is just always reactive, right? And a lot of people play as really greedy Priest, and they're not on the board, and if they don't draw their Mass Hysteria, they're always behind. So the meta this week seems to be a lot of players are playing curve, and so you gotta either draft a good curve yourself, or you draft good reactive, efficient tools to deal with curve.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change, actually.
I think I lost one of my games was to a druid. The guy Ultimate Infestation me.
Oh.
And then at that point it's over.
Yeah, you're not gonna beat
I'm behind that. Yeah. Like
that.
We're about even Ultimate Infestation.
Yeah.
Maybe what they do to help druid is, this is my 2 cents. We lower Ultimate Infestation into a lower bucket so it gets more often. Would that break the rails?
That would break the rails, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's in the top bucket right now, right?
Yeah.
Let's just move it to the second bucket. Would that
a druid could probably be number 1.
You telling me if we move Ultimate Infestation from top bucket to second bucket, Druid would go from 48.4% to what? 55%?
51% easily. It would rival the top classes easily.
You're telling me that one thing.
One card could do it. Yeah, one card could do it.
So just do it. Let's do this.
Because it's the most broken card a class can have, right? So.
I think we should do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. But I remember when Ultimate Infestation wasn't in the top bucket.
Druid still wasn't that good.
Druid was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
But now that Ultimate Infestation is like in the top bucket, Druid is just going down.
Maybe we need to make Druid great. Make Druid great again.
Okay, so this week we're gonna do co-op on Warriors. And let's just talk a little bit about Warriors. You said you had an 8 win with
I'm not
the
sure if
Warriors.
it's Warrior or Warlock now. It all seems the same to me. I just play my game. But it seems like it's fallen from on hard times. Before, when the set first came out, Warrior was just abusing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was abusing everyone. And then it hit a rough patch where people figured it out. They re-bucketed some of the cards. And then what happened was it fell on hard times, basically, right?
Yeah. So they rebucketed Warriors, and they pushed cards like Dragon Roar up. They pushed Warpath up. They pushed Dynomatic up. They put
Super Collider.
Super Collider is still not in the top bucket, which I'm kind of tilted about, but Warrior isn't that powerful anymore, so it's fine, I guess. And then they micro-adjusted Warrior, so which means Blood Razor, Super Collider, that shows up less as well. So Warrior wasn't as broken anymore. So before all these changes, you could just play a Control Warrior. And now you have the option to play a mid-range style of Warrior. Now I tried the mid-range style, like a little bit more aggressive. It sucked. It sucked. And I think the reason why it sucks is because you saw the tier list before, right? You had Rogue, Paladin, Warlock, Mage. These 4 classes, they all play mid-range better than Warriors. Because if you think about it, Warriors just have their hero power. So they can't beat these other classes that have a stronger mid-range shell.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really play mid-range anymore, but I also don't think you can play Control as consistent. So
it's in a tough spot.
It's in a tough spot. What I would define it, the Warrior style, is kind of like a really slow mid-range to Control style.
So a shitty Control.
So a shitty Control,
and
basically.
A shitty mid-range.
Because if you play full Control Warrior, you lose to Priest. Because Priest can now out-greed Warrior.
Even with the Dragon's Roars.
Even with the because they could just steal your Dragon's Roars. And then what can you do, right? And so... so I would say draft heavy still. Because if you draft light, like a mid-range as the other 4 classes, you're not going to win. Because those other 4 classes, they're just going to mid-range you better. So you still have to draft a little bit heavier. You draft your Dragon Roars, you draft your Warpath, but you take your Gore House, right? You take not as many Dragon Roar. If you have to take a Warpath, take a Warpath. But you're looking at huge taunts too. You're taking at Tar Lord, whatever, and then you just lose to Demon Bolt and Walk the Plank. But there's nothing you can do. You have to draft that way because it's the best way for Warrior to win.
So you just have to accept the fact that you're going to get crushed by a rogue with Assassinates, Walk the Planks, Demon Bolts, or even if they have Black Knights.
Yeah, Black Knight's just game over for
Remember
me, man.
that 12-run win I had with the Pally?
Yeah.
Where I kept Black Knighting every Warrior guy with this big taunt, like, you lose!
Yeah. And, at high wins, when I see Warriors, the most consistent way they beat me, and I don't lose to Warrior that much, but the best way for them to beat me is that they got lucky on Dragon Roar, and they're just swimming in Warpath. So, what do I mean by lucky by Dragon Roar? So the most broken Dragon Roar cards are not the heaviest dragons.
Not Deathwing.
But the ones that give you a lot of initiative early on. So Dustbreaker, right? The 4 mana 3/3 deals 3 damage to every minion on the board. when that comes out, it just hurts you so much because they deliberately, use 2 mana to play a Dragon Roar, and they anti-tempo themselves. But then they catch up so much more because you play into their Dustbreaker, and you're not supposed to play into it. No, I mean, you're not supposed to play around it, but there's nothing you can do because Dustbreaker is just so broken out of Dragon Roar. And the other card is, you want to guess what the other card is that comes out of Dragon Roar that's really disgusting?
It's not a Scorcher, is it?
No.
It's better?
It's better.
Crowd Roaster?
Crowd Roaster. Crowd Roaster. So Dragon Roar gives you this problem where you can't spread, right? Because Dustbreaker could get you. And you can't play a big guy because Crowd Roaster can get you. So basically, you can't play around anything. If they have them, you're just fucked. But if they don't have it, they just get slaughtered because they wasted 2 mana to play draw 2 cards, right? Early on, you can't do that anymore because everybody's playing for curve.
What do you think? Because I remember before, back in the day, you wrote a warrior guide, and you said draft, was it 3 weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Is that still valid, or do we go more weapons or less weapons now? Or depends on the weapon.
It depends on the weapon. Like you're always gonna take your super colliders. I think you always take a Gorehowl now because it's one of your ways to win.
Mm-hmm. What about early game weapons, like a fiery war axe or the hatchet?
I think less war axe, but definitely the hatchet.
Okay.
So the problem with the war axe is a lot of good players pick 3 mana 3/4s or something with more than 4 health, and then you can't do anything with the war axe, right? This is not a meta where a lot of minions have 4/3 amount of stats, so the war axe is just worse. So war axe not so much, but Arathi Weaponsmith, right? 4 mana 3/3 minion that gives you a 2/2 weapon. That's really good. And the hatchet's still pretty good because if you synergize a hatchet with like a swift messenger, like on the 2/6 body, you basically just win the game almost every time because you put so much tempo on the board. So that's another way to win, by the way, is to cheese out with rush synergy. Yeah.
That almost sounds like an aggro warrior.
Yeah. If you get a lot of good rush minions early on, you just draft for that rush mid-range archetype. Like draft your hatches, draft your town criers, and then you draw your rush minions. Like I've lost to a lot of warriors who cheesed out with Akali, the Rhino, the 8 mana 5/5. Battlecry, if it overkills something, it's not a battlecry, it's just overkill. If it kills something, it draws you rush minion and it gives it +5/+5. That's insane. That's insane, bro.
Yeah, that's a legendary. That yeah. That's like who's that guy? The 4/4 that gets +2/+2.
Darius Crowley.
That's like a 12-win card too, right?
Yeah, it shows up quite frequently actually too. So that's how you win with warrior. Like if you get those tools early, you can be like, okay, I can actually play this mid-range aggro style, right? But if you don't get those, you immediately switch gears, go for control. We're gonna do the co-op, so it's gonna be interesting to see how we draft.
What kind of train wreck? Stay tuned, folks.
Okay, so we talked about warrior. Let's just go on and talk about a card in warrior. Why don't you?
It's the Militia Commander. 4 mana warrior card, 2/5 rush, battlecry, gain +3 attack this turn. So when you drop it on turn 4 or whatever, it's a 5/5 rush for 4 mana. Yeah. So in my book, this is great. 4 mana, 5/5 rush. It could probably take down any 4-drop and still stick around. So you still have to deal with it after, or crush a 3-drop. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you got some poisonous thing that's then you just don't drop it.
Then you just don't drop it.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, this is a great card. Why don't we pick it more often? I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I'm, like, thinking 4 mana, 5/5 rush.
Yeah.
Sure, afterwards it's maybe a 2/2 or 2/1, whatever. You still got to deal with it. It's still a body, right? Tachi gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay, so one card that also deals 5 damage, that's a rush. That's also costs 4 mana is Steel Rager.
Right.
And I don't pick that card as much either. Now, obviously, that card is much worse than this card because most of the time your Militia Commander is going to leave a body at the end.
Right.
But I don't like it as much because I think the 5 attack doesn't matter too much. So I actually, like, for example, right, I compare Steel Rager to a Swift Messenger, which is a 2/6.
Yeah,
and it becomes
or
a 6/2.
6/2. Yeah.
Now, the 6 attack feels a lot more relevant than the 5 attack. And the reason I have for that is because a lot of minions that cost 5 mana or 6 mana, they only have 6 health. But a lot of minions past that have more than 5 health. Now, if you think about it, like if somebody has a 5/5, like a War Gear,
Yeah.
and do you want to throw your Militia Commander into that?
Do I have a Swift Messenger? Do
Um,
I have a 6/2 Swift Messenger ready to go?
Sure.
Then I use the Swift Messenger.
Then you use the Swift Messenger, right? So I feel like this card is a little bit awkward to use sometimes because in your head you're like, I want to keep that 2 attack body still alive. But a lot of times you just have to use this card to kill a 5/5. In which case a Steel Rager is just better than this card.
Well, we found out something interesting because I was thinking this is a great card. Why doesn't it see play more often? Then I realized it's in the top bucket
Yeah.
for Warrior. Like this is a bit too much. Like this doesn't seem like a top bucket card.
Yeah, the problem, is we don't see this card too much. And interesting fact, Super Collider is not in the top bucket, but this card is.
Yeah, so
So-
maybe if we move this down a bit, it might make Warrior better. It might fix the Warrior.
Yeah.
We're just here fixing everything for Hearthstone. Make this higher. What's the other thing we have to make lower? Or
Super Collider needs to go higher.
what else is the thing we talked about earlier that we had to adjust? That we're thinking about. Oh, Ultimate Infestation. Make that lower.
See, this is why you're the casual player and I'm the pro, and I'm like, absolutely not.
I just
dude.
want to play
Absolutely.
with it more often. I remember a time when I was playing with Druid, I would pick Arcane Dynamo just for the opportunity of getting Ultimate Infestation. And I was thinking, oh man, this is the turn. And every time it would not come up, I was like, fuck this game. I don't get it.
Just retire, man. Just play another.
I just want Ultimate Infestation.
Here's another comparison with this card. So, if you had to pick this between Arathi Weaponsmith, 4 mana 3/3, and it gives you a 2/2 weapon, which card would you pick?
Obviously the Weaponsmith. That's a weapon there, and it's just smashing people.
Yeah. So,
That's the problem. It's in the wrong bucket issue.
it's in the rock bucket, right? Because Arathi Weaponsmith should probably be in the top bucket. And it would still be pickable sometimes. But this is not top bucket material.
Okay.
So that's why, I mean, my rating has nothing to do with the bucket system. I just think inherently this card is a little bit weak.
Okay.
Because it has that issue of, if it needs to kill a 5/5, a Steel Rager could do it. Like, why do I have to waste a slot in the top bucket?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. And then, that's my beef with this card.
Kneeboy had a good point of saying the issue with the Swift Messenger, it keeps flipping and flopping, right? You might not have it locked and loaded when you want to. But you're a pro, so you're always predicting everything, right?
Yeah, we're kind of predicting it. So we usually use Swift Messenger at the best time we can do it. It's funny because you would think that flipping it would make the card worse because it would be less consistent. But in the grand scheme of things, it actually doesn't. Because when I play with Militia Commander, there are a lot of situations where I'm like, oh, he has a 5/5. I don't want to ram this into a 5/5. I want to get more value out of it. But sometimes you have to do that. And then you're just like, well, I could have just picked Steel Rager to do that. Or I could have picked Arcanine Reaper. Right? And then I'll have another 5 attack weapon on hand. So yeah, it's just, this card's just a little bit awkward to use, and you don't want to keep it in your hand, because sometimes, what if they have like a 3 health minion, and you're like, I don't really want to kill that, I want to kill something with 5 health.
I think you're being greedy at that point.
But a lot of people have this problem, and then they just keep this card in their hand, so
Okay, maybe that's an issue.
It has a situational issue that a lot of people don't look at.
Would you say this is a high skill card?
I don't think so. I think Swift Messenger is a harder card to use because it has that 50% variation.
The flipping, yes.
But this card is kind of, I guess there is a skill in that you don't want to be too greedy with it, but that's basically about it.
Just don't be too greedy.
Just don't be too greedy, or just don't draft this when you can draft like a Bone Mare instead, right?
There's your problem.
Yeah.
Bone Mare this. That kind of sums it up.
Yeah. So okay, we'll move on. We talked about the card. We talked about Warriors. We're gonna pick Warriors. Let's see what happens.
Next slide.
Okay, so why don't you talk about this?
Okay, all right. So what we did was I finally posted a Reddit post to the HS Arena, and to announce our podcast on the. I finally got it uploaded to YouTube after weeks of convincing Tachi to do it, and he would refuse. So we just asked for people for feedback to watch it and see what they say, because I feel that's important to get feedback on what direction to move the show and what needs improving and where to go from here. And I just feel like sometimes when people just listen to themselves or just their best friend, you end up in this echo chamber scenario where you don't really hear what people really want. And it's important to get feedback from people. I know Reddit is not usually the friendliest place, but HS Arena seems to be relatively friendly.
Yeah,
relatively.
That's a pretty good community.
Pretty good community. So we wanted to shout out to everyone that did respond to the Reddit. So FS616, that guy JMC, Dan and Stefan SF, Pie Master UK, Maple Gunman, and Bozer TV. Boozer?
Boozer.
Oh, whoops. I'll get it right next time. And basically from what people said was there was good things and there's bad things. Some people broke it down. And the good things as far as I'm concerned is our chemistry and the content. The format is casual player and pro. Tachi and I do know each other in real life, and we do hang out, apparently, outside of Hearthstone and seeing each other once a week, and we do catch up and talk throughout the week. And, that to me is important. But the other issues that we had, the bad, I fell into more of a technical issue, like things that could be solved with, I guess, proper equipment or financing or getting everything set up properly, and a bit of prep work and focus. We're still new at this. We've only been doing this once a week for a
month or two?
A month? Well, no, we started back. I think November last year, but we weren't consistent, and we were trying to just, wet our feet and trying to take it a little bit more seriously now. So we're trying to get better in that point. And I know I don't usually sound that good, so hence why I'm holding this mic closer. We'll get a second mic eventually, so we don't have to share. I don't know what he does his thing when I'm not here, so it smells a little funny right now. I'm not sure if that's his breath or something.
It smells great, man. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? It smells great, man. I would smell it more. Oh, yeah.
Hey, calm down. This isn't a FRSM, or what do you call those things?
ASMR?
SMR thing, ASMR. So I do thank everyone that read the Reddit post and gave us feedback. It's appreciated, and we're trying to move this in the right direction. It's slow, it's a patient process, but the way I look at things, as long as we make improvements every week, we're moving towards the right end of the spectrum, and we're getting there.
Yeah, and we're keeping it more organized now too. We talk about. We have divided into 4 sections now. So the first section we talk about is the news. So the news could be, leaderboard, arena events that's happening. And right now, we are in the new expansion phase. So there's a lot of new cards. So we spend that aspect to talk about the new cards. And the second section we talk about now is current meta trends. So, even though we're kind of like at the end of the Rastakhan meta, I think there are still some changes, and there are still some people that actually want to know what is going on. Because what I noticed too is in the last month of Arena meta, Arena HS really doesn't have that many resources, and instead I see a lot of people complaining, right? Like, oh, this game is all dice rolls and whatever. And I mean, the only thing I want to say to that is it's not just dice rolls, but a lot of good players are still playing Arena, and this is why it's a lot harder and it feels like it's a dice roll because you're losing a lot more often than before for no explainable reason. So I want to tell you, you're not losing for no reasons. There's a lot of good players like me who are just farming Arena right now in the last month, so it's a lot harder. So
Thanks a lot, Tachi.
current meta trends, it's going to be a good thing. We're going to talk about it. And it's going to be very good when the rotating sets come in because it's only going to be every 2 months. So there's going to be a lot of changes on week by week basis as people discover what's going on. So that's going to be a good section there. And then number 3 is we talk about a class. So now that, again, the rotating sets coming in, we have, maybe 2 months for one set. And that gives us like 8 to 9 weeks, right, for a set. And then guess what? There's 9 classes. We probably don't even need to talk about all 9 classes. But we'll give you, the top classes that we think of when they first come out, and we'll talk about that. And so that segment will be about class. And then the last section is card discussion. So card discussion will be very interesting because me and Will talked about this before, but every meta, the card, even though the card stays the same, it might be the power level kind of changes. Right? So if you look at...
we'll look at something simple, like a Chill Win Yeti.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was great, and then there was a period where no one picked Chill Win Yeti. It was horrible. I guess because I remember clearly in, what's the one, Mechs, Officials, and Gnomes or something like that, where they had a 4 or 5 mech.
Yeah.
That would give you a spare part.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, why would I pick a Yeti when I have this other card that does the same thing and gives me a spare part, right? But now Yeti has also fallen back in favor.
Yeah,
I feel.
Yeah, and I don't want to explain that, but basically the reason for that is because there aren't a lot of 4-drops right now. So a Chill Win Yeti is really good in what it does.
I didn't know that. I just felt like it was powerful. I just picked it because it was smacking people around, and it took a lot of resources for them to deal with.
Okay. Yeah, so that will be our format from now on. We'll probably be improving on that. And each format will be different in length, right? Because sometimes new cards will take a lot more time than class discussion. Because right now, we're not going to talk about each class that much or a single class that much because the expansion is ending. It's not that important to you guys. But analyzing new cards, that's where the fun is at right now. So
it's all about having fun here.
Yeah.
The player and the pro.
Yeah.
Slide. Okay, next episode. I got the idea from other shows and the Dice Tower and whatnot. It's a board game show about making a top 10 meta-defining cards in Rastakan's meta. So Tachi has already created his top 10 list. I'm still working on mine. Of the top 10 cards we found, I guess meta-defining or useful.
Most impactful, I guess.
Most impactful.
In this meta.
So you didn't just get a bunch of 3-drops, did you?
I believe my list will be significantly different than yours, so look forward to that.
Okay, we'll look forward. We'll have that for you guys next week, and we're not sure if we'll do it on Twitch, but we'll put it on YouTube for sure.
Yeah.
It's just easier that way because we can edit it and do proper things. And it's just funny how we're gonna have different ideas, and we're just gonna riff at each other because my list is just gonna be all 3-drops. Is that legit?
That could be a thing, yeah.
All the 3-drops out there, all the good 3-drops.
Okay. Spoil me on this. Do you have Tar Creeper up there?
No.
You have a lot of 3-drop and no Tar Creeper?
He doesn't seem that cool to me. Do you?
I actually thought about Tar Creeper.
But no.
But I don't think I put it up there either.
No. He never felt like the problem with some cards is like clearly they're memorable when you get like a 12 win. Like this card clearly carried me for the 12 wins, right? Like the Super Collider, for example. Wink, wink. But there's some cards like a Tar Creeper, like, okay, it just kept me in the game. It didn't win me the game, right?
Yeah, and then you don't think about how strong it is, but it actually turns out to be super strong.
Dude, but I do remember certain 3-drops that make me laugh and do leave a memorable situation, which is what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, Tar Creeper is it's a great card. And it's maybe I'll talk about this in a future podcast, but basically there are some cards that are really, really, really good when you go second.
Right.
And if you're a leaderboard player, sometimes I fall into this trap too, where I don't think about that, and I just take cards that are good. Period. But some cards are a lot better when you go second.
Situational.
Yeah, and these cards are actually cards you should have in your deck, or else it makes you weaker. Because what if you just go second a lot, right? Then you just lose those early games, and you get like maybe 3 to 4 wins. That's it. Because
you're trying to hedge.
Yeah.
You're trying to hedge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And I'll talk about my leaderboard stats next month. If people watches my stream, they know I have an 8.2 right now, and I might improve on it, but likely I'm not. Likely I'm just gonna play Paladin because I want the Golden Paladin portrait, guys. That is my reason to play Arena now.
Okay. I think that's it for this week.
That's
right?
it for today. We'll do a co-op.
We're gonna eat
Stay
first.
Tuned. It's 5 o'clock. Are you hungry or?
Nah, let's just.
We could probably do a co-op because at most it's gonna be 2 hours. It's gonna be 7:30 and.
Yeah, we're playing Warrior. It was not gonna last long.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Shots fired! All right, let's end the episode, and if you guys just need to refresh the page, we're gonna do a co-op.
Okay.
We're gonna end it now.
Hold on. So that's it for now. Thanks everyone for watching. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to hang out with us tonight, so appreciate that. This is Casual Player Will.
This is the pro Tachi.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Or what do I say? See you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Boom.